whisperer. I call her Cow. You guys could probably figure out why. What's up, baby? Hey. Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Before we even get started, you guys, I just want to say thank you all so much for 3,000 subscribers. Because of you guys, we achieved 3,000 subs. Anyways, guys, I got some sad news for you guys about the RCF, and it's that if you actually wanted to buy this car after 2026, you cannot. And that's actually because after 2025, Lexus is not making any more RCs at all. So guys, what does that actually mean? Does it mean that the prices of RCs is going to skyrocket? Does it mean you should sell your RC? Or does it mean, should you even buy an RC anymore? And the overall answer is, I actually do not know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I do know that these cars will hold value the same way ISF has held value over time. And what I do know is whether or not you should buy this car in 2026, since after 2025, it is going to become discontinued. I've actually owned this car for about 2+ years, and owning this car for 2+ years, it actually made me really kind of understand this car a bit more and figure out more positive things about the car and more negative things about the car, and also determine whether or not this car is actually reliable in the long run. Because if you guys didn't see the video from 2 weeks ago, I actually showed you guys how many miles this car has, and it might be the highest mileage RCF in New York State. And because I've owned it for 2+ years, and because I actually drive this thing instead of keep it in the garage all day, I'm able to tell you guys the things that actually go wrong on this car, and the things that could go wrong with this car, and whether or not you should actually get this car in 2026, being that there are a lot of competitions out there. As we're starting off right under the engines, guys, believe it or not, an F80 M3 and an RCF, I'll say an F82 also M4 and an RCF, kind of share similar issues, which is from factory, something messes up in the engine. Well, I wouldn't say in the engine, but like around the engine. So for the RCF, the thing that actually messes up that's really common is your valley plate. Your valley plate could leak. Now the cool thing is even if the valley plate leaks or is leaking, this car still performs just well. On the other hand, with an F80 M3 or F82, the crank hub is the issue. If your crank hub messes up, say by motor, valley plate leaking will really not affect your motor, but it is costly, just like the crank hub. And if you guys are wondering whether or not I've experienced a valley plate leak or not, the answer is yes, I have. And when I did, the car still drove well. I was able to drive it for a long time, and quite far actually, as long as I kept some coolant on me. Guys, I know that over the past years, power has been a big thing. I feel like if you don't have a car with over 700 wheel horsepower and more, it's considered a slow car. So if you are actually interested in getting this car in 2026, just be mindful that the maximum amount of power you could possibly make on this car is probably like maybe 470 wheel horsepower. There are some companies that's trying to make 500 wheel horsepower, but with the full bone and tune, you're looking at 470 wheel horsepower. It's still quite fast, but when you compare it to its other competitors like the BMW G80s, G82s, right? And even the F80s, right? It's not as fast, but the car is still fast. It is no sleeper. Scat Packs, I'm on your ass. I might get crucified for this in the comments, but if you are into Mustang GTs, right, Scat Packs, but if you are looking for something different that everyone doesn't have, then this car is for you because it shares similar horsepower, and it also has a 5.0 V8 under the hood. It roars also. Maintenance for this car isn't as expensive as everyone thinks. All you really have to do is change some other fluids such as your trans fluid. But you could change your diff fluid. I'm trying to think. Shit, I think that's about it. Actually, guys, I lied. I also had to change these spark plugs on this car, not because I really had to, but because I wasn't really sure if the previous owner ever changed them. So I changed them anyways, so that the car could just run a bit more smooth. But overall, guys, the cost of maintenance on this car is really not expensive, especially if you do the work yourself. I've been doing oil changes myself, and I can honestly say I've saved over probably $1,000 on oil changes just doing them myself. With any major issue, then yeah, you might have to take yours to a shop. And we are back under the hood. And the reason why we're back under the hood is because this one is kind of controversial, but the V8 consumes oil.
What do you mean by that?
Lexus V8s, like for example, the LS460, right, and other V8s that are Lexus, they tend to consume oil. This car does consume oil, not often, but it is enough where it is noticeable. Some people, on the other hand, actually don't have that issue. So I feel like it's a hit or miss, and it also depends on how hard you drive this car. Every time I'm in this car, especially when it's nice outside, let's just say I'm a NASCAR driver. guys, it's really cold outside. I had to come inside and warm up real quick, but back to outside. Here we go. And yeah, guys, I got a question. If this was your first ever time seeing this car, how much would you think this car would weigh? Maybe 3,000 pounds, 3,500? Yeah? Well, guess what? This car actually weighs approximately 3,900 pounds, almost 2 tons. Damn near 2 tons. Can some weight reduction on this car be really helpful to its performance? Absolutely, hell yeah. I feel like if this car weighed maybe 3,500 pounds, I literally think that it would be able to keep up with a lot of other competitions. But because this car is so heavy, and also because this car is naturally aspirated and not boosted, it kind of lags behind its competition. And of course, just because this car isn't as light as its competition or as fast as the competition doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad car. Even with almost every power mod on this car, I am still able to have fun and also keep up with a ton of other cars. Me personally, I really don't need about 700 wheel, 800 wheel horsepower to have fun. 500 horsepower, I feel like it is a blast. I have a blast in this car at all times. And of course, there are some things that I personally did to address the heaviness of this car, like adding on some lightweight forged wheels all around the car, which actually, funny enough, they cracked twice. There's a ton of other things to consider about this car if you are thinking about buying it in 2026. For example, right, this car only comes in rear wheel drive. So if you live in the north like me, and if it kind of snows even a tiny bit, yeah, you may be staying home for quite some while, because right now we are in the midst of winter time, and I hate the fact that I really cannot drive this car because I'm not trying to Mustang, or I should say G80. I'm not trying to talk down about this car. It's a really, really amazing car. It's actually my favorite car, or actually I'm gonna say one of my favorite cars that I have ever owned. This car does the job. It looks good, it sounds good, it's sleek, it's fast, plenty enough. And also, people be thinking that this is a whole 2024 car, where actually 2025 car, where in reality this car is 10 plus years old. That's crazy. And if this car actually hits all your marks, I would say go for it, because at the end of the day, it is a unique looking car. It looks great. It looks just as good as M4s in my opinion. I might get some hate for that, but I don't know. If anything, it actually might look better. Maybe because I'm looking at it through this angle with the camera, but it just looks so freaking nice right now. But anyways, guys, this video was me just talking and yapping. I don't know if you guys like that. Actually, I don't know. But it was also a really informative video, guys. So if you are thinking about picking up a Lexus RCF in 2026, and if you're interested in a GT Mustang or anything else that has a V8, I'll say consider this car. And no, I'm not saying it because I own this, right? I'm just saying it because I feel like this car is actually really, really, really overlooked, and I could understand why. But once you actually get in it and drive it for once, you may see why people may choose this car over other cars. Oh shoot, guys, there's one more thing I forgot to say. Guys, if you're buying this car, in my opinion, I would personally choose the years between, I'd say, 2015 and 2021. The reason why, I wish I could, actually, I'm gonna just pop up the hood. I'm not gonna be a lazy fuck, but it's because, I'm gonna show you guys, right? First of all, the years 2020 and up, believe it or not, right, they actually kind of stripped a lot of things from the car. For example, do you see these seat savers? I believe you either don't have these or you have one less seat saver. And as I pop open the hood, let's actually go under the hood and examine something. You guys see those struts? The 2020 versions do not have the struts. Now, why would they take off the struts? Guys, I literally do not know. But the 2015 versions, I'll say the first gen RCFs, I'll just call it that, definitely come with the struts, which improves your handling. The second gen RCFs, and assumingly the one that's coming out, or the ones that's coming out in 2025, most likely will not come with these struts. Personally, for me, right, when I saw that, I was like, what the, why are y'all taking things off but making the car even more expensive? And personally, I kind of like the look of the first gen RCs. I like the separation of the DRLs from the headlights. It looks pretty neat and sleek. All right, guys, it's really cold. My hands are freezing. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did enjoy me yapping, just talking about the car, make sure you hit that like button. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Let's take a look up. Yo, guys, it's about to snow like any second. Man, I gotta move somewhere else. Somewhere warmer. I'm tired of this. All right, it's time to go.